The year was 1897. A child was born in Villeneuve-sur-Aisne, France. His name was Marcel Petiot. Even as a child, darkness clung to Petiot. At 11, he aimed a firearm at a classmate and propositioned another for sex. Expulsion followed, but it did little to deter him. His teenage years were a litany of petty crimes. Diagnoses of mental illness piled up, but the labels did nothing to stop the escalating depravity. World War I erupted, offering Petiot the perfect opportunity to disappear into the chaos. He enlisted in the French army in 1916, but his time in uniform was troubled. Discharges due to mental breakdowns and self-inflicted injuries punctuated his service. Even amidst the carnage of war, Petiot's darkness thrived. He stole from his comrades, his conscience unburdened by their shared plight. His superiors recognized his instability, yet he always managed to evade serious consequences. The seeds of evil had been sown. The world would come to know him as something far more sinister. Dr. Satan. The war ended. Petiot, a veteran at 21, sought a new mask. He exploited a program to become a doctor. With alarming speed, he obtained his degree and established his practice. His patients placed their trust in him. But Petiot remained a predator at heart. He saw his patients as prey. Insurance fraud became his new trade. In 1926, Louise Delavaux vanished. Whispers circulated about a large trunk. A trunk with dismembered remains surfaced. But Petiot evaded arrest. Undeterred, Petiot embraced his darker impulses. He became mayor of his town. His charisma masked the rot beneath. His constituents elected a monster. Embezzlement and fraud were his tools. His hunger for power grew. He was a phantom, slipping through justice's grasp. World War II engulfed Europe in darkness. For Petiot, it was an opportunity. He evaded the draft, forging documents with ease. He posed as a member of the French resistance. He preyed on the desperate, promising escape from the Nazis. As Dr. Eugene, he promised safe passage to South America. His fees were exorbitant, but fear loosened purse strings. In reality, they were buying their deaths. The syringe contained cyanide, a one-way ticket to oblivion. The doctor was in, and danger was his prescription. Petiot's gruesome work continued unabated. The bodies of his victims began to accumulate. Initially, he disposed of the bodies in the Seine River, but the river could only hide so many secrets. He turned to quicklime, its caustic properties dissolving flesh and bone. The stench of death permeated the air around his home. He built a furnace in his basement, a macabre crematorium for his victims. The flames consumed their remains, leaving behind only ashes and the stench of evil. The Gestapo, ever vigilant, caught wind of Petiot's activities. They suspected him of being a resistance operative, a thorn in the side of the Nazi regime. They had no idea of the true horror lurking beneath the surface. They were blind to the monster in their midst. Petiot, ever the chameleon, managed to deflect their suspicions. He continued his reign of terror, his dark secrets safe for the time being. His methods of disposal became increasingly brazen, but still he was not satisfied. The house on Rue Le Sueur became a house of horrors. March 1944. Petiot's carefully constructed facade began to crumble. The stench emanating from his home on Rue Le Sueur became unbearable. Neighbors, alarmed by the putrid odor and thick smoke billowing from the chimney, alerted the authorities. They feared a fire, unaware of the true inferno raging within. The police arrived, their suspicions aroused by the overwhelming stench. They entered the house, ready to confront whatever horrors awaited them. What they found would shock even the most hardened officer. The house was a charnel house, a monument to Petiot's depravity. Human remains littered the basement, some partially dissolved in quicklime, others charred beyond recognition. News of the murder house on Rue Le Sueur spread like wildfire. The press, eager for a sensational story, dubbed Petiot Dr. Satan. His crimes, once shrouded in secrecy, were now public knowledge. The world recoiled in horror, aghast at the depths of human depravity. But Petiot was gone. He vanished before the authorities could apprehend him. He became a phantom once more, a ghost haunting the streets of Paris. The mask had slipped. The monster was revealed. For months, Petiot evaded capture. He used his cunning to blend into the shadows. In October 1944, his past caught up with him. A chance encounter in a Paris metro sealed his fate. He was recognized and apprehended. His trial was a media sensation. Petiot reveled in the attention. The evidence told a different story. The jury saw through Petiot's lies. They found him guilty on 26 counts of murder. On May 25, 1946, Petiot faced the guillotine. The memory of his deeds would continue to haunt the world.